Levi. Do you think Levi ever forgave Eren? Hajime Isayama confirmed that Eren spoke to every one of his friends in the past before the end. The conversation with Levi stayed off screen. Levi is an Ackerman. Eren could wipe the memories of the others, but he couldn't hide the truth from Levi. Eren tells him everything. The rumbling, the 80%, the fact that he knew Sasha would die and let it happen. The fact that he knew Hanji would die and let it happen. He tells Levi that every death Levi tried to prevent was already part of his plan. Levi gives him his answer. He just stands there, looking down at the man who used every life Levi ever fought to protect as a stepping stone. Connie. Eren brought Connie in, the first thing he told him was about his mother, the Titan in Ragako village. Eren told him she was still alive, and that when the power of the Titans disappeared from the world, every pure Titan still breathing would return to their human form. His mother was coming back. For a few seconds, Connie felt something he hadn't felt in years. Pure, unfiltered happiness. The boy who lost everything was about to get back, the one person he had been fighting for since the beginning. But then Eren told him the rest, that 80% of every living person on the planet would be dead by the time the rumbling was over, that entire countries would be flattened, that millions who had nothing to do with this war would be gone before they even understood what was happening. And Connie's body couldn't take it. The joy of hearing about his mother and the horror of what Eren had become hit him at the exact same time, and he collapsed and threw up right there in the paths. But then, as he looked down at the red water beneath him, he saw something floating, a single potato drifting slowly through the bloody sea, and in that moment, Connie picked it up with trembling hands and looked at Eren. And for the first time he understood everything. Sasha's death, the rumbling, his mother's survival, all of it was connected. All of it was the price, and Connie just cried, holding on to the last piece of his best friend while standing in the blood of the world. Annie. What if we saw Eren's last conversation with Annie? Eren spoke to every single one of them before the end. He gave Armin a long emotional farewell. He sat with Reiner and talked about guilt. He explained his reasons to Jean and Connie, but with Annie it was different, because when Eren brought her into the paths, Annie didn't ask about the rumbling. She didn't ask why he was doing it. She didn't ask him to stop. She didn't care about his reasons or his plan or what would happen to the rest of the world. She only wanted to know one thing, whether her father in the Liberio internment zone would survive. That was it. Out of everything happening, out of the millions of lives at stake, Annie only cared about one, and Eren told her yes. Annie turned around and walked away. She didn't look back. She didn't say thank you. She didn't say anything else, because Annie was never the type to show what she was feeling. She had been hiding behind that cold face her entire life, but Eren saw it anyway. The same look he had when he thought about his own mother. The look of someone willing to burn the entire world down for the one person they love. And in that moment, Eren understood Annie better than anyone ever had. Jean. Jean punched Eren in the paths, and Eren didn't fight back. When Eren told him 80% of the world would be dead, Jean swung at him hard the exact same way he always did. But this time, Eren just stood there and took it. Jean screamed at him. What about Mikasa? What happens to her after you're gone? Who takes care of her? Who tells her it's okay to stop wearing that scarf? Eren didn't answer. Instead, the paths shifted around them, and Jean saw something. A quiet room. Morning light through a window, a woman with dark hair and a scar on her cheek, holding a baby. Jean froze because he recognized her. It was the life he had always wanted, the one he almost chose before he joined the Survey Corps, the one he dreamed about in chapter 127. Peace, a family, everything he fought for but could never have. And in that vision, Jean wasn't a soldier. He wasn't covered in blood. He was just a man sitting at a table watching the morning come in through the window. And for 1 second, it felt real. And whether Eren showed it to him or Jean saw it on his own, it didn't matter, because what broke Jean wasn't seeing it, it was knowing he had to walk away from it. And Eren still didn't swing back, not once, because he knew that everything Jean was feeling was right. Reiner. What did Reiner and Eren talk about in their last conversation? Through the paths, Eren pulls Reiner into a place with no walls, no war, and no titans. First, Eren shows him the volcanoes, fire and smoke rising from the earth, the kind of thing they both read about as cadets, but never believed they'd live long enough to see. Then the snow, endless white in every direction, the same frozen lands from Armin's book that Reiner once pretended to care about just to keep his cover inside the walls. And for a moment, Reiner forgets the wall he broke, the people he killed, and the mother he took from Eren, but Eren doesn't let him forget for long. Eren tells Reiner everything, the 80% that Reiner will try to stop him and that Reiner will survive. But then Eren tells him the one thing Reiner never expected to hear, that Eren wanted to wipe the world wiped clean because something inside him needed to. The same way Reiner didn't break the wall to save Marley. He broke it because he wanted to be a hero. Two boys who told themselves lies to justify what they really were. Reiner doesn't scream, doesn't fight back, because finally someone looked at him and didn't see a hero, but a mirror. Eren looks at Reiner not as an enemy, not as a friend, but as the only person who ever truly understood what it felt like to keep moving forward. Falco. Eren's last apology wasn't to Mikasa or Armin. It was to the boy he used in Marley. When Falco opened his eyes in the past, he was sitting on a bench, the same bench outside the hospital in Liberio where he first met a wounded soldier who called himself Kruger, and Eren was sitting right next to him, the same way he did back then. But this time, Falco knew exactly who he was. Falco had carried one question since the day Liberio burned: whether the letters he delivered were the reason Udo and Zofia never came home, whether their blood was on his hands because he trusted the wrong person. And in the past, Eren didn't let him carry it anymore. He took the weight off the kid's chest and put it back on his own. Because every choice that destroyed Liberio was his. Eren showed him something else. Everything Falco had done with Gabby was the inverse of everything Eren had done with Mikasa. Eren pulled the people he loved deeper into the war, but Falco pulled Gabby out of the hatred instead of feeding it. And Falco remembered that first day on the bench, how he sat next to a stranger and chose to be kind for no reason, and how that stranger used his kindness to start a war. But sitting here now, at the end of everything, Eren looked at the only person on the other side of the ocean who ever reminded him that good people still existed.